Alright, hello there. I think I mentioned this a little bit ago when I was in this series of recordings that these were all going to be like autopilot style, so it's pretty easy, and I don't need to really I was thinking about taking a break and doing this is like in these series of videos, but this is the closing off of the season, so I have to kind of put a separation in my mind there for that, because it's like this is a series of videos I did all in one sitting, but this is the conclusion of a whole season of like 12 episodes or something like that. So I think I'm doing basically like a whole half of a season in one sitting, considering that each of these first two seasons were like 12 each. Anyway, I put for the description of this episode as a question mark. I think this would be more, and then on the last one, updates. I think there's a better way to describe this, and by golly, I'll do it right now. But the relief that I have from just writing these notes down properly, aside from the description, is immense, as I am doing things on a daily, and then doing things on my phone. It all revolves around the same subject, and then I write the stuff down. So if that's like in any help to you, as it is completely to me, then I certainly would love to hear about it, and I would love to see about any updates that you guys might have, or hear about any of the newcomers to the platform who are making their own show and doing all this stuff, and as well as the experienced people. But I'm gonna leave the whole rest of the intro totally to the instrumental here, and kind of just have fun with it. Like, let the instrumental rock through prior to the theme song. Let's go! Hello, fellow metalheads and friends and enemies alike. I have to really get something off my chest here with the actual opener of the episode, as I had a pen and a piece of paper in my hand when I wrote these show notes down. But there's just only so much you can really do with a pen and a piece of paper, especially nowadays. And I owe a shitload of credit to my years of experience in doing so much improvisation and stuff off the top of my head, that a lot of this stuff serves as an obstacle. It serves as like a totally proper obstacle in this avenue, is just being super self-absorbed and having a lot of the world revolving around me kind of thing as something to work on. I'm working on it. I don't have the total freedom or liberation yet from balancing perfectly what content that I create and then how I interact with the content that I consume. It doesn't have anything to do with either or. It's as much as it does the details involved, like what am I listening to, what am I watching, but how am I talking to the people, and the people that are also watching and listening, or the people that make it, and what am I making and creating, and how much time do I have for myself at the end of the day, to for my mental health and all that stuff. it's been a reoccurring theme that's super important, especially in metal, in this genre of music, where people take time for themselves and need to break from it and they can't do it anymore, and then they don't return or something like that, or they do. There's parts where people do. All that aside, okay, this is gonna be like a quick rewriting here of. I'm gonna do like a quick rewriting of the description here. It's like, because it's a little redundant. In the last episode, I put the description as updates, and it's like that's what you should be expecting from the show is updates. But it's like, personal updates maybe, like personal updates. Part 2. I mean, I did personal updates on the previous episodes, so it'd be like number 2. This one is like artist socials or something like that. And even still, this is still seeming kind of generalized. But following up after this episode, I have in the description, I have releases. So like new releases from artists. I'm talking a little bit about those. And then it'd be socials too, because I have some more socials for you. Updates 2, socials 2, and then, technically I'm supposed to be including these, like, all into the, I'm just going to divvy these up here, because I have, like, this shit written down. Anyway, that was the main thing I wanted to say, was that having me put the stuff out, and then genuinely being interested in what other people have out is a crucial aspect of doing this. And then I get myself super frazzled and all messed up when I jump into certain rabbit holes down stuff, and that's kind of something I have improved upon before doing this series and closing off the season, so I'm not all that worried about it. I'd like to just kind of cap that off as the introduction into the actual show here. So let's get into the details here. So we had some recent events, and there were not much details on the stuff that I could find in the way that I did it. If you need something other than just some guy babbling in the background when you're on your way to work or on your way to and from work or something like that, or just taking a walk, and there's some reason other that you like my show other than you like the way that my voice sounds, or you have been a fan for a long time, let me try to work on just being able to say stuff and just blurt it out and just saying it, like, hey, Abigail Williams is back, and they're back on tour with Veil of Panath and Summoning the Lich. And that's big news, guys. That's big freaking news indeed. As I mentioned also a little bit about the Global Bands Discovery, Abigail Williams was on it, and then I removed them from the list of Global Bands Discovery as there wasn't anything recent. There's oftentimes I find an artist, I'll look them up, and they don't have anything new out. That was one of them, and now they're back. I checked out their stuff, and they're awesome. Also, next up, ways to be concise. 200 Stab Wounds was just at the Forge here in Joliet, Illinois, and it was definitely probably something available on the Forge's Instagram, as they usually have everything available there. And that venue just in general is super decent as hell, and I gotta go see some shows there. Moving right on along, Abith did a set at Dark Lord Day 2024 at 3 Floyds Brewing in Munster, Indiana. That's also big news too. So make sure you check out 3 Floyds Brewing's Instagram, the website, and just having a black metal legend like Abith there when they're typically only known for a lot of death metal. That was big for me. I think that was what interested me, is Anybody who's checked out Three Floyds Brewing, Munster, Indiana's Google Maps, read the reviews on Google Maps, on Google Maps for Three Floyds Brewing, and find out what people are saying. There's a bunch of people complaining about, I couldn't enjoy my meal because all I could hear was death metal blaring at the top at full force or something like that. And it's like, okay, it's just all death metal. That's all that I hear about, or something like that. And then I drink that beer regularly, dare I say religiously. And these black metal legend juggernauts are there. It's super huge, super big. Dark Lord Day 2024. And then when I find out about this event, there's just some guy throwing a ball down or spinning the wheel and then winning like beer for life. He won like a lifetime supply of Three Floyds beer or some shit like that. I think it was like a lifetime supply of Dark Lord Day tickets, really. I don't think it was a lifetime supply of beer. But I was seeing that, and that's how I found out about it. And then this band was there. I was like, oh, now I'm all of a sudden super interested in it. So take that for what it's worth. And something that actually particularly is peculiar and interests me, that I'm looking at the freaking Instagram, I'm looking at the YouTube, I'm actually watching Cannibal Corpse YouTube videos on the official Cannibal Corpse channel, and they only have 289,000 subscribers. They don't have an X, and I'm blown away by that. How does a legend, and I told you a million times, death metal's not my cup of tea, but there's death metal and then there's Cannibal Corpse, and there's a huge difference. But for 289,000 subscribers, that's not even 25% of what there should be. That's unbelievable. Unbelievable, and no X. That's kind of believable, but for me to put that out there, maybe I'll see an X pretty soon, and then, maybe hopefully there shouldn't be any problems with it. Let's do a quick intermission here, and just self-promoting, self-advertising for that, as I've reminded you a few times that if you wanted to donate and improve the show and show your support, you can show your feedback for free on Threads, available on my Linktree, X, available on my Linktree, and on the X, if you want to show some real support, send some cash to my Cash App, available on the convenient Cash App donation button on the top of my X profile. Now let's continue on with this Vault of Doom podcast, episode 23. So I just got done talking about like some of the stuff that was with the amount of subscribers on a Death Metal Legends YouTube channel, and then what I also wanted to say, that it sounded like I was complaining a little bit, not quite sure if I was or not, but something that's super worth mentioning is really just going to have to be something that kind of hopefully will inspire a lot of people, as it truly inspires me, and it just has something worth mentioning, that the front man for that band has his own personal Instagram where he's a family man, and he's showing that he's human, and he's been in interviews a lot where he's showing that he has something of substance to provide, and that's totally contradictory to what people might think. It's totally different than what people might be expecting, and it's beneficial for both the fans and the artist. And there's really, it's a pretty super good role model for a lot of people who, I don't know where the scene is at all right now. That might be why my podcast is doing the way that it's doing right now. But at the same time, it's also super beneficial for me to have the fucking luxury of waiting it out until what I'm saying actually matters, based on the fact that I have something to back it up. Like, I don't have all the BS that everybody's expecting and wanting right now. but I have the patience to sit around here and wait as long as I have to make this whole thing really come to fruition and just unravel into the beauty that is this culture and this lifestyle. So in closing the rant, I want to make sure that the role model aspect might be ultimately why I'm mentioning the frontman's profile, and then the amount of subscribers being just really, the amount of subscribers merely is just like a segue for me to open the door a little bit and kind of enter into the conversation, where it's like I'm a little bit confused why there's only 289,000 subscribers on the official Cannibal Corpse YouTube channel, but I'm also not that surprised, considering that it doesn't matter that much and nobody really cares, and there's way more than 289,000 fans of the show. So wherever all the rest of the fans are at, I don't know, but it would be an important link and missing link in the puzzle to say to myself, you know what, come to think of it, the answer's right here for you. I'm just going to say it. I'm just going to come out and say it. I don't always subscribe to the most obvious bands that I'm super big fans of. So, I don't know how this, I know how that connects because I just said it, but I don't know how this would connect in my patience for my projects and my show and my stuff connects to like this culture and this lifestyle being the way that it is without having a certain amount of credibility, where we deserve the most amount of credibility, but we don't get it, and then our opposites in the industry are vice versa, and that's where people can maybe jump down that avenue or rabbit hole if you want to, but I'm good. I'm not going to go there. So that pretty much wraps up the show. The socials, I think, is what I called it. I probably just call it can't just for that main one. And go ahead and make sure you rate the show. Send me some feedback, positive or negative. I don't really care which, but do the thing. And I will catch you guys on the next time. I'm going to bounce on out of here. Catch you guys the next time that you can show on up and tune into Vault of Doom podcast, metal music, metal news, metal podcast with me, Mickey Gemini. Let it roll.